Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're right now on the government panel discussion on government and enterprise approach to cybersecurity, safe national cyberspace. We're talking about strategic approach, how governments are handling cybersecurity in a digital era, cybersecurity and smart cities, advanced technologies for citizen safety, critical infrastructure protection, data privacy protection legislation and its impact on cybersecurity landscape and region, and nation-state cyber attacks. Well, we've got with us our panelists. First up, Anthony Lim, a board member advisor, the Center of Strategic Cyberspace and International Studies, Singapore. Well, Asia-Pacific iconic pioneer, information security, cybersecurity, and governance advocate, business leader, consultant, auditor, and instructor with over 20 years of professional experience in various domains, including cloud, smart cities, and application security. Also, we have Phannarith, the Director, Information and Communication Technology, Cambodia. Mr. Phannarith is the Director of the Information Communication Technology Security of Ministry of Post and Telecommunications of Cambodia. He's the former head of the National Cambodia Computer Emergency Response Team and has been involved in development of cybersecurity, ICTs, and related regulations in Cambodia for the past 13 years. We also have Joel Koh, the CEO, Deepbase Ventures Faculty, Singapore Management University, Singapore. As an investor and serial entrepreneur, Joel's life goal has been to invest in support 10,000 innovative individuals and companies around the world. The purpose is to bring sustainable and smart development to global communities. Joel has written widely on the topic of AI, fintech, innovation, and entrepreneurship for publications including Yahoo, The Business Time, and Tech in Asia. But also we have Charmaine Valmonte, the VP IT Security in Philippines. Well, Charmaine's specialty includes information security, government liaison, and IT program management, instructor training, telecommunication operations management, strategic planning, business continuity, and disaster recovery. This entire panel discussion is going to be moderated by Joshua Arvinlath, the Chief Technology Officer, AWS Machine Learning, CBO and Insights, Philippines. Well, Joshua is an AWS Machine Learning hero and currently leads the AWS Machine Learning Zero to Hero global events, discussing different topics on machine learning and machine learning engineering. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to pass this incredible panel discussion, which is on your screen right now. Over to the panel. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, good day. All right, so thank you for that. All right, so let's start. Let's start with a quick introduction of what we all do. So let's go around the panel and hope you can spend probably 1 minute each to discuss what you're doing and then how you're contributing to the world. And at the same time, what are your focus areas? Yeah. So let's have a quick 1 minute introduction about ourselves. Go for it. Let's start with Mr. Phannarith. Yeah.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Panelists. I'm from Cambodia. I'm a director of Cybersecurity Department, the Ministry of Post Telecom Cambodia. Actually, beside this, I'm also a professor at the university on cybersecurity and also involving in various regional conference. I'm a friend with Anthony Lim actually, and also I'm involving leading some community cybersecurity jobs in Cambodia. Also handling the cyber ecosystem in Cambodia as a whole. Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay, Mr. Lim, Mr. Anthony Lim.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm very honored to be on this panel and welcome everybody. In the daytime, I'm a regional principal consultant at Fortinet, which is an IT cybersecurity vendor. I am a fellow at the Singapore University of Social Sciences, dealing with fintech and cybersecurity policy and audit. I'm an ISO 27000 lead auditor, and I'm also director of this CSCIS, which is a UK-based think tank research and advocacy and consulting dealing with, of course, course, the furthering of cybersecurity good practices and policy. For example, we're researching right now IoT security policy and all that. And the rest of the stuff was already mentioned in my introduction. Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right, Ms. Charmaine, yeah, please introduce yourself.
Yes, good morning. Again, as introduced earlier, my name is Shar-Mane Valmonte, and I currently serve as the head of IT security and infrastructure for Aboitiz group of companies. Now, that is my day job. What I do on the offline or off time is basically I also teach amongst with all our panelists here for in cybersecurity and particularly cyber warfare in that sense, and take part in various issues and topics in terms of working with groups such as the National Cyber Security Commission and the like as well.
All right, and then Mr. Joel Ko. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Joel. Yeah, and I'm running a venture capital fund aiming to invest in AI startups and machine learning startups and cybersecurity startups based in the UK actually. And also I'm teaching AI and machine learning in the Singapore Management University and also in the University of Edinburgh in the UK. So I'm so glad to be here. Okay.
All right, great. All right, so I'll be sharing I'll be asking a couple of questions. Basically, how the flow will work is that we have 4 or 5 major topics, and then the goal of each of the panelists is to answer at least 1 question or 2, and then we'll have follow-up questions, and then other people can build on top of the questions assigned to the panel. So this is a really exciting session for today, and yeah, give me 10 seconds to share my screen.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, just 1 second.
Yes, we do.
All right. So let's talk about the first topic. Strategic approach, how both governments are handling cybersecurity in the digital era. So we have assigned panelists to talk about this, but for the other panelists, feel free to add other items. So let's start with Sir Phannarith, and let's have him share on what he knows about this topic. Go for it. Mr. Phannarith, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry, you are sorry. Okay, now.
Okay, now it's okay. Now
yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Yes, thank you, Joe, for that. I'm talking as the Cambodia government experience in dealing with cyber security in digital era. Actually, Cambodia government taking on 5 approaches to dealing with that. So I'm talking one by one in briefly. So first, we are dealing. First approach is about the law and regulations. The government is trying to adopt and to establish a law that accommodate the digital era. For example, we working on cybercrime law. We're working on cyber security law that we're dealing with industry compliance, and also we are moving to the data protection law as well. That a good topic recently regionally focus on maybe data localization, cross-border data flow, data sovereignty, residency, all of this. And beside that, we are also trying to look at the use development of the online commerce that are currently booming as the COVID-19, all the regulation that we need to take part of it. And this is about the first approach. Second approach, we are trying to improve our technical capability. So in terms of improving technical capability, we focus on incident response unit that we have Cambodia Emergency Response Team as the main contact point for incident response. So beside that, we are working with all ministry concerned who have the critical function to run the internet facing system, like Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Commerce, for the rest, Ministry of Interior, something like that. So we are helping them to set up their own incident response team, and then we collect them all together, become a network. We call GCERT, Government Incident Response Unit. That technical capability at the government side. We also supporting the telecom and operator side to set up their own incident response unit as well. So it become the incident response for the operator side. So it will be a complement for government and industry to working together. The third approach, we are improving our institution. So in this case, we set up the necessary institution, like we have an incident response unit, we have the security, cyber security department that in charge of general things like policy and strategies, guideline and regulation, and we also have a anti-cybercrime police who are dealing with crime enforcement, arrest, investigation. And we have also cyber diplomacies that dealing with international cyber security agenda, the stand of a country when dealing with cyber security internationally. This is the third one. And the fourth one, we focus on capacity building for everyone, for government, for industry, for university students. And last but not least, we focus on international cooperation in terms of regional like ASEAN, in terms of regional ASEAN Regional Forum, we have 25 countries, and also APT, ITU, and lastly on UN on international agenda. Then so far we also have a commitment by issuing ASEAN leader on cyber security that represent a commitment from the regional ASEAN country to moving forward on cybersecurity is resilient in the regions. Yeah, those are the 5 approaches that the Cambodia government take as an example for coping with cybersecurity. Yep. Thank you, Joe.
All right, thank you for that. Great answers. I have some follow-up questions, but I'll ask later. Okay.
Well, actually, I want to add on to what Mr. O said. I think he said many things, but I think 2 very important things today that he talked about is, number one, cooperation. You know, many governments are dealing with cybersecurity, but what's important nowadays is that governments talk to each other, cooperate and coordinate, because hackers, you know, cooperate very well. So it's very good that the governments, especially in the ASEAN region and our area, are cooperating to share cybersecurity knowledge and general defense, because, you know, cybersecurity has no borders. So I think that was one very good point he brought up. And the other good point he brought up is basically policy and governance, and that's because in every country, the government is probably the biggest single network. They are the government will usually set up the policy and the governance, and all the other people can learn and follow they don't have to follow every line, but there's some they can borrow which policy to help in the, you know, especially smaller companies, how to set up a cybersecurity posture and policy. So I think these are 2 very points I'd like to comment on Mr. O's remark.
Yeah, thanks, Lips. Yeah.
Okay. Before we proceed to the next question, would anyone want to add more notes on that topic? Or should they proceed?
I think for the most part, I do agree with the notion of ensuring that the practice continues to proliferate over time. And in most cases, I've seen the growth over the last over the last 10 years. 10 years ago, this was not even a topic in the government, or much less in society. So it's a big leap. And the continuation of shared knowledge in terms of threat intelligence is important. Particularly, most people like to keep these things to themselves, but it's these things, this threat intelligence, this sharing of knowledge across, whether it's government or private, is so important.
Yeah.
Great, great. Thank you for that. Any additional notes, if ever? Or I think we can also proceed to the next question. All right. So next item would be, if you can see my screen, so cybersecurity and smart cities, advanced technologies for citizen safety. So this is primarily assigned to Sir Joel. So I think you can start with this question.
Okay. I think regarding about the advanced technology for the cybersecurity sector these days, maybe as you know, I think quantum computing sector, because the advancement in the CPU actually it brings a lot of innovations for the cybersecurity detection and also prevention and those things. And also, if I pick another advancement in this sector, is I can choose Internet of Things, censoring and detecting anomaly behavior from the hackers or for those things. Actually, we have a big advancement about the censoring area, like IoT. And finally, I think, as you know, I think we should must mention about the big advancement in the machine learning, AI sectors. And so, as you know, I think, I believe every vendors and every software players about this sector, they are heavily focusing on the develop their solution actually based on the machine learning algorithms or AI methodologies. So I can pick quantum computing and IoT, and the machine learning will be the key advancement in this cybersecurity sector.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that. Sir Anthony, would you like to share a few more notes on this?
Well, no, I think Joe was quite comprehensive in talking about. So we're talking about smart cities, right?
Yeah.
And basically, one very important point in your topic title is that smart cities for safety, and the government's policy point of view of safety is the overall safety of the citizens, not just the cybersecurity. But the cybersecurity comes in to ensure that the system that provides the smart cities are safe and therefore can continue to provide the overall safety of the citizens. And one difficulty of this smart cities cyber safety is that there are many different components from different agencies and different suppliers, and that they need to be better coordinated. We have jokes that the police have one camera and the Department of the Environment has one camera, and some other government agency. So you have three cameras looking at the same thing, and why can't they be more coordinated? So, but this is improving. Okay, so. As the city gets smarter, and the other thing is that I think there's one very important area of data protection, because when you engage in more and more smart cities activities, there's more and more data that has to be collected and generated, and this data has to be managed properly, and which is one area that's behind the scenes with respect to management of smart cities for the safety of the citizens. Do not forget, the ultimate objective of smart cities is the safety and well-being of citizens, and not cybersecurity.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, I totally agree with Anthony Lim's comments, because actually we are facing, how can I say, dilemmas about securing between security and also data privacy, because there is always competing and fighting discussions on between these two agendas. Actually, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
I also understand, as we delve into IoTs and interconnectedness of systems, then there is the dependency. There's a tendency to move away from the more tactical side, right, of having the resiliency and the like. So we need to always remember that these things can do and can go down. And in the IoT space, it's still growing, yeah. So because of this growth, it's being targeted as well. So we have to keep in step with all these things that we're implementing to ensure that there is not a sole dependency on it, again, on the safety factor, no? And at the same time, ensuring that what we do provide is secure across the different agencies of our community, as Anthony had alluded to earlier.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit, for the IoT, in terms of the government, I think to be have a secure IoT product and all of that, I think government play important role in terms of policy and regulations. Because mostly the vendor, they do not care about it because IoT is very cheap, and so they want to roll out fast. They want to be mass market and whatever. So security is not their consideration for somehow of it. So that's why only the government that can put their feet in and put a regulation and policy to make everyone to be aware, to have a standard. All of these that I think they can minimize the risk of the IoT device. Otherwise, the vendor is just go ahead and put to the market without security, something like that.
No, actually, wrong. IoT device have security. The password is ADMIN.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, really good discussion on that one. Yeah, thank you for that. Let's proceed with the next question. There's definitely more questions to come. But yeah, let's talk about critical infrastructure protection, predicting and preventing cyber attacks before they occur. So I think this primarily assigned to Ms. Charmaine. So Ms. Charmaine, please go for it.
Okay, in terms of critical infrastructure protection, so we're talking about things that we are reliant on as a society, right? Our power, our water, our utilities, and the like. And that being said, over time, if you notice, normal IT, you and I, in the corporate world, we're talking about CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. You take that and flip it a little bit when you're talking about critical infrastructure, because their main purpose is availability, right? Availability. And then they go into integrity and then confidentiality. If you notice, the security is on the other side of the spectrum. That being said, we need to ingrain the security in that environment. Although here's the challenge: critical infrastructure has obsolete equipment, right? You're dealing with old systems. And so implementing or baking, this is the time when we're baking into it or adding into that recipe per se, the security. And in doing so, it's important that we go ahead and manage that environment. Of course, we're going to upgrade this environment. As we upgrade these environments, in the core design, we start baking in security. And how does that work? Again, security or cyber in this aspect will need to have and incorporate the design with security in mind. And that comes with partnerships with your threat intelligence and your security, of course, naturally security operations, and from the IT space, right? So this is where the IT and OT kind of interconnect, where the IT becomes your overall cover in terms of that layered approach, because OT, we want to make sure we still do the segmentation, the isolation that is required for it. So incorporating that into the design, in terms of predicting what can happen, here's the thought process. Think as if you have been attacked already, right? Since we are in the availability space of the OT specification, you have the threat intelligence in the core design principles with your partners in security. That gives you the key risk indicators. For example, what's happening in the world today in the industries of Stuxnet is one of that example, right? And the things that are going on on the other side of the pond in Northern America with the critical infrastructure attacks, as well as the most recent ones, right? With Israel and Iran. And that being said, they're looking at ransomware, they're looking at phishing, and these are techniques that are used in the IT space, right? So we need to go ahead and incorporate that in the OT environment in terms of understanding security awareness training and the inclusion of threat intelligence. That is most important. We cannot do it alone. Threat intelligence through our security partners, naturally, to our certs and the like, both from the private sector and the governmental sector as well. sharing that information among the security practitioners is most important. And of course, automation, because there's only a limited amount of cybersecurity professionals across the board, right? But in most cases, we need to build the human firewall, so to speak. So that's basically in a nutshell what I wanted to say in terms of predicting, right? Being able to understand based on the threat intelligence you're getting, even at the IT space, how it impacts your OT environment, and ensuring that you have continuous threat detection in that critical space.
Great. Thank you for that. Would anyone want to build on top of what Char mentioned, or do you have other answers to the same topic? All right, great. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is about AI and machine learning. So how does AI and machine learning help advance cybersecurity? Yeah, so I think this is primarily assigned to Sir Joel. So Sir Joel, please go for it.
Yeah. Actually, nature of attack, right? Nature of attack actually should be unexpected by hackers, actually, right? Always hackers, they are trying to develop or create unexpected situation by their technology, right? So in the sense, actually AI or machine learning can be used to predict those unexpected situation or unexpected user behavior or activities, actually, right? So actually, in terms of the AI or machine learning, actually we are mainly focusing on those to predict those unexpected situations, to analyze or to protect from those attacks by hackers. So this is the key trend in an AI research area regarding about the cybersecurity and also safety. Yeah. So user behavior analytics or predictive analytics by using supervised learning or unsupervised learning, or sometimes reinforcement learning, those kind of algorithms can be used. Okay. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that great explanation. Would anyone want to add other notes on this item?
Well, I would like to add the use of AI. It's important today because especially when we've been talking about threat intelligence and all this, there's more and more threats, there's more and more people attacking, and with 5G coming, there'll be more connections per unit time, per unit activity. It's quite impossible for our current servers and and people to try and see through, and then our SOC and our SIEM and all to see through everything. So AI takes away a lot of the heat of all the mundane practice, so they can home in on the actual threats and then come up with modeling and patterns so that the management can make decisions as to what's happening. We talk about Mom Charmaine talked about cyber resilience, and one of the important components is incident response management. And with more incidents, people don't know how to respond, and that's where a lot of problem comes in. So the use of AI, I believe, helps to actually increase the speed at which we can react, speed at which we can manage the threats. Okay, and there are also stories that hackers also have AI, to increase their attack surface on us, things like that. So and especially I think Mr. O will agree also, even the governments are already considering the use of AI in their cybersecurity management. You cannot not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm agree with Anthony. Actually, I am also thinking to provide an input with the hacker also using an AI.
Yeah. Yes.
So later on, example, hacker produce a AI bot that can evade, detect, or rebrand itself automatically. So how our AI counter with the AI? We also saw solving a movie that a drone have the capability of AI of identify people who is who and who is target, and then kill immediately or escape or abroad from remotely, something like that. It could be happen in cybersecurity,
Yes.
if the AI bot coming and it said, oh, someone is going to counter us, they invaded, they what we are doing like that, you know. I'm waiting to see. It might be a challenging time coming in 5G. Yeah, as Anthony mentioned, yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah, great discussion on that. There are a lot of things that will definitely change over the next couple of years because of AI and machine learning. It's constantly evolving, same as with cybersecurity.
No, it's already happening. It's already happening. Okay, and even banks are using AI to sieve through documents. They have thousands of documents, 99% of which look the same. So they use AI to sort of manage them. So that human beings, hopefully, no, AI does not make human being out of job. AI make the human being do the more important job that the machine cannot do. I hope.
Yeah. That's a common misconception with machine learning, that they'll or the AI stuff that will replace human jobs, when in fact they're actually helping us do our works better and help us focus on other things. All right, let's proceed with the next questions. All right, can you see my screen? Okay. So this applies to governments and companies. So shortage of cybersecurity talent is completely true. So how are governments and companies dealing with these issues? I think this question is primarily assigned to Sir Phannarith. So Mr. Phannarith, please go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Johan. Yeah, I am responding as a Cambodia experience, you know, for dealing with the shortage, you know. Government will come out with a cyber capacity building plans that focus on three approach. First, we do awareness program that we flagship it as the Stay Safe Online Cambodia. So no, it's a campaign that for everyone that we to make cyber security aware for all in terms of video, poster, talk show in media. All of that is about the awareness program for everyone, government, private sector, school, all of that. Secondly, we conduct a training, a workshop for government, for bank, for community, for university level, based on their criteria, free for everyone actually, because it's an initiative from government, so everyone selected to attend graduate from time to time for this kind of capacity program. The third one, we conduct a cyber exercise. So we have two cyber exercise program every year. One for government is a cyber encore. We flagship it. It's for government CIO to dealing with cyber incidents, with scenario coming up, so they can experience how they will solve this kind of incident. Like in Singapore, they have some exercise, superstar like that as well. Yeah, for government, and for the university student, for the young talent, we also conduct a cyber contest. It more technical, better than the government. Government is a table exercise, but for the young talent, they more into technical level, penetration testing, CTF program. So they compete, and then the winner will go to compete regionally, like in Singapore, in Thailand, or in Vietnam, something like that. So government do this kind of capacity building program differently. So hopefully everyone will enjoy different benefit because of the different target. That's one we are rolling out. We are doing it to improve the talent in Cambodia. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. Would anyone else want to add to that? And how it worked on a company level, for example? Okay, I'll proceed to the next question. Okay, so I think multiple people can answer this question. I think Sir Joel, would you like to build on top of what you talked about, or yeah, Sir Joel?
Okay, so I can. Okay.
Yeah, you can. Then others can.
I think if we just consider the cascading effect of certain situation, right? If the hacking happens in certain industry, for example, healthcare sector, I pick a healthcare sector in terms of cascading effect. The impact is huge if there is a cyber attack happens in the healthcare sector. And if I choose one more, like maybe telecommunication, and thirdly, I wanted to pick the lastly is about finance, banking sector. So I pick telecommunication, healthcare, and finance sector is the most, I think, important area to defend from the hacking because those three areas influence a lot of things in our daily life. Do you remember about 2 years ago, actually Singapore government, Ministry of Healthcare in Singapore actually was hacked by hackers, and around 1.5 million population private data about their own healthcare situation actually was stolen. Those actually hacking was happened about 2 years ago. And so I think many hackers, they are aiming to steal those data, privacy of healthcare sector, and also banking sector, finance sector. This is a key area hackers are aiming to breach. And so I think because in our daily life, actually we receive a lot of scam calls, right? And so likewise, actually we are too much exposed to those trials by hackers in the banking sector too. And lastly, telecommunication area, no doubt, actually hackers are trying to attack those telecom companies because they telecom companies, they are dealing with a huge amount of data because everyone uses smartphone actually, right? Okay, so I pick these three industry. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. All right, so there, we'll have one or two more questions. We'll wrap up soon.
Okay.
So, sorry, Joshua, what did you say?
Okay. I wanted to add to the list. I think we talked about finance and healthcare. And another one is that's up and coming besides critical infrastructure was education system, because everybody is online. All students are online today learning. So that increases that threat vector. And so that these educational institutions are also a big target today.
Well, thank you, Ma'am Charmaine. I also want to add on top of this that it's now actually nowadays it's hard to answer the question which is the top three because hackers, okay, if you name the big organizations, government and telco and banks and all that, they are very big organizations with a lot of money. So they have very good infrastructure and very good cybersecurity, a lot of firewalls and protection. Hackers know this. So it's hard to attack the big organizations, even the critical infrastructure, the oil company and all that, they have money. But so what the hackers do, they attack the subcontractors, they attack the suppliers, they attack the supply chain, they attack the SMB, and they try and come in by there. So, there's a lot of effort right now from the government and the big organizations to ensure that the ecosystem is also meeting some minimum level of cyber security so that, when they, so we have this joke about, they attack the Pizza Hut guy on a motorcycle that's delivering the pizza to you. So I think that's one important consideration today that that's why many companies, the government is trying to help the SMBs to improve their cybersecurity posture because they supply things to the big companies. Big companies are well protected. So and a lot of fintech, Ma'am Charmaine talked about university students, there's a lot of kids writing the fintech services coming up today, and there's zero cybersecurity and governance. And so hackers will be looking for them.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so last 3 minutes. So there's one question from the audience. So regarding fintech, how you all look for the future needs? Will it grow and how to secure? And for example, for the last 3 years, there are issues where all Bitcoins have gone to some countries in Asia, such as Japan and Taiwan. So yeah, if you guys can check the Q&A portion, there's a question from Yusri regarding fintech. Yeah. So who wants to take on that question? How will it grow? For fintech, how will it grow and how to secure it? Because for the past 3 years, there have been issues regarding Bitcoin in different countries, for example. So more fintech and security. Yeah.
Maybe I can answer a little bit because Bitcoin is expensive, right? And Ethereum is expensive, like those cryptocurrencies, right? And that's the reason why many hackers actually approaches to the cryptocurrency exchanges. And as she mentioned, actually, I believe most of the crypto exchanges around the world, they are exposed to actually threat of hackers actually, right? And so in this sector, actually, I recognize that some exchanges, crypto exchanges, they are trying to move to another paradigm technology, like for example, DEX, decentralized exchange, for example. And so in this way, they are trying to develop another way to secure, to custody Bitcoins or Ethereums, right? So likewise with another industry, actually Bitcoin or cryptocurrency industry, also they are trying to develop more secure tools or methodologies to defend their assets actually, right? So one of the example is the DEX, DEX.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. All right, so I think that's the end of the panel discussion. Before we end, let's give each one of you a big round of applause, and let's give each one of you, let's say, 15 seconds to share 1 or 2 sentences, one final 1 to 2 sentences. Go for it around the room, the 4 of you. Yeah, Sir Anthony, can you start?
Okay,
Last
well,
2 sentences.
the takeaway from today's forum, if you notice, the common thread, I think today is intelligence sharing, collaboration. You know, gone are the days where you try to operate by yourself already, and I think that's one of the important points we learned today. And second thing is that, to Mr. O's credit, whether you like, every country government plays a big role in leading the way, in providing the guidance, providing the education and the governance. And even when we talk about fintech, and one last point, how do you ensure security of fintech? Also, again, the government, like even the Singapore Government Monetary Authority, they come up with guidelines and education, how you need to secure. Eventually, there'll be standards. So again, end of the day, and this is the way to go. Collaboration, at the same time, some kind of education and framework. That's most important.
Right. So, Mr. Phannarith, please go for it. Last one.
Yeah, I don't have anything more because Anthony Lim at everything up, summarize everything.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, we think alike.
Yeah, the one I just said is we support each other in the region, because if one country is the weakness link, so the others nearby will also have problem. So we need to work hand in hand together to bring our capability to a certain level in the region, equally the same or somehow is lower, but not we close the gap. We can say we close the gap. So our capability can support each other, then we can go together safe and resilient. Yep.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Min.
I think for the most part, besides the collaboration, we need to also understand that we need to respond. We need to practice. We need to not only do tabletops, right? We need to think as if it's there and be able to maintain our resiliency.
Great. And then finally, Sir Joe, go for it.
I think in the cybersecurity or security area, I think there are no magical solution actually in this area, because everything cannot be predicted or expected in this situation. As you see from even coronavirus situation, actually even the how can I say, developed countries, many developed countries actually they failed to defend, right? Actually from those attacks, right? So likewise, actually in the cybersecurity area, actually I believe there is no magic. As Shar-Mane mentioned, we need practice and resilience. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, thank you for this panel discussion. So I think that's it, and goodbye. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anthony, Charmaine, Joel,
Thank you.
and Joshua. Thank you.
Bye, Joe.